moment. Okay, now I'm going on to question number 13. It's a word problem. It says about 1/5 of the world's population lives in China and about 1/6 of the world's population lives in India. What fraction of the world's population lives in other countries? So let's write down the information that we know. 1/5 of the world's population lives in China. So this is China. It's China. And 1/6 lives in India. And we want to know basically what fraction lives in all the other countries in the world. So let's add these up first, because what you're basically saying is you have the population of the whole world. Some people live in China, some people live in India, and they want to know how many people live in the rest of the world. So if we add these up and then subtract that from one whole, we should get our answer. So when we add 1/5 and 1/6, we're going to need, I'm rewriting it down here, we're going to need a common denominator. And 5 and 6 are my denominators right now. So if I write down some multiples of 5, multiples of 6, 18. Actually, that should be 12, 18, 24, 36. See, right now we don't have a match. So remember what I told you, when you don't find a match, you just keep going. So you get 30, 35, 40. Let's see if we get a match now. I skipped 30. So 30 is a match. So our new denominator is going to be 30. Okay? And then you just ask yourself, well, how can we get these to equal? 5 times 6 gives you 30. So you have to do 1 times 6. And that's going to give you 6. 6 times 5 gives you 30. So you have to do 1 times 5, and that's going to give you 5. So your new question is 6 over 30 plus 5 over 30. You keep the 30. 6 plus 5 is 11. So let's think about this now. 11 over 30 is both China and India. That's the fraction of people out of the whole world that live in China and India. So 30 represents your total in this fraction. 11 represents China and India. So if we want to find out how many people live in the rest of the world, we have to do find out what number. I'm trying to find an easy way to explain this to you. Okay, let's do it like this. If I say that we bought a pizza. Here's our pizza. Has 8 slices. Hopefully I can do this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 slices, right? And myself, I ate 4 of these slices. Let's say I ate 3. Not that greedy. I ate 3 slices. I ate 3 slices of the pizza. So I ate 3 out of 8 slices. That's how much I ate. And I ask you, well, how much is left? How do you figure out how much is left? If you couldn't just see the pizza and count it, you would say, how many slices were there altogether? There were 8 slices altogether. I ate 3, so what's left over? 5, right? Same concept. You have to figure out what's left over. So in this case, 11 over 30 is China and India out of 30. So what's left over? If you do 30 take away 11, you get 19. So 19 out of 30 is what's left over. 11 out of 30 is China plus India. 19 out of 30 represents the rest of the world. Okay, so that's your final answer. 19 out of 30, because 19 plus 11 gives you the whole 30 out of 30. That's the key to remember. 19 plus 11 gives you the whole 30 out of 30. So the rest of the world is 19 out of 30, and you can't simplify that, so that's your final answer. Okay, let's go on to number 14. I'm not going to work through number 14. I'm just going to show you how to set it up, and you can finish it on your own. Number 14, they say R plus S. They want you to evaluate each expression for the given value. So they tell you to evaluate R plus S, and then they tell you that R equals 8 4/5. Yep. And S equals -3 2/5. If I'm correct. Yes. So they want you to evaluate this expression. All you have to do is plug in this for R. So rewrite it down here. 8 4/5, and plug in this for S, plus -3 2/5. That's all you did. Here's your R, here's your S. R plus S. And then you solve it, by writing it vertically and doing the work the way I showed you to do it. Okay, last question is number 16. Number 16, they give you a triangle. I'm going to try my best to draw it. And they tell you that this side is 3 1/3 inches. They tell you this side is X inches, meaning we don't know. And this side is 5 1/4 inches. And the perimeter, what is a perimeter? Perimeter is the distance around the whole shape. So all three sides added up. 12 23 24 inches. That's the perimeter. So remember what I said, the perimeter is all sides added together. Okay, the perimeter is all sides added together. So they want to, basically they want to know the missing side, So that's easy enough. All we have to do is find out how much of these two sides are when you add them up, and then subtract it from this side, right? So let's add 3 1/3 plus 5 1/4. First thing I want to do is change these to improper fractions. So I get 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. 10 over 3. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 is 21. 21 over 4. So we're going to add 10 over 3, 21 over 4. I need a common denominator. So 3 and 4 are my denominators. So we get 3, 6, 9, 12. You have 4, 8, 12, 16. We already found one. It's going to be 12. So 12 is my new denominator. That's my common denominator. And how did I get from 3 to 12? I multiplied by 4, so I have to multiply the 10 by 4. 10 times 4 is 40. And same thing on the bottom. How did I get from 4 to 12? I had to multiply by 3, so I have to multiply 21 by 3. And 21 times 3 is 63. So now I just add 40 over 12 plus 63 over 12. And of course 12 is going to be the denominator, you keep it. And 40 plus 63, sorry about my phone ringing. 40 plus 63 is 103. I'm almost sure. I don't like to take chances after doing this much work because your brain starts to slow down. So I was right. 40 plus 63 is 103. If you divide, 12 goes into a 103 8 times, and the remainder is, I'm not even sure. Let's do it over here. 12 goes into 103 8 times, and 12 times 8 is 96. So when you subtract, you get 7. So the remainder is 7. So you get 8 and 7/12 as your final answer, because 7/12 cannot be simplified. We're done. Okay, that was well, actually, I'm sorry, we're not done. We still have to subtract that from the perimeter. That was a long question, that's why I thought I was done. So 8 and 7/12 is just these two sides added together, which makes sense, right? Because 3 and 5 is 8, so it's close to 8, 8 and 7/12. So these two sides added together is 8 and 7/12. Now I have to figure out how much the missing side is. So I'm going to take the perimeter, which is all the sides, and then subtract these two, which is 8 and 7/12. So I'm going to do 12 and 23 over 24 minus 8 and 7/12. The perimeter is all three sides. This is the two sides that we know. We subtract it and we'll find the missing side. So for 12 and 24, what is going to be my common denominator? Let's change it first to improper fractions. 24 times 12 plus 23, big numbers. 311 over 24. Take away 12 times 8 plus 7, 103 over 12. So we have 311 over 24 minus 103 over 12. We need our common denominators for 12 and 24. By now you can kind of like think ahead. What do you think the common denominator is going to be? If you know your 12 times tables, you already will know. You have a match, 24. So 24 is going to be your new denominator. And in this case, you already have 24, so you don't need to do anything. In this case, you have to multiply 12 by 2 to get 24. And when you multiply 12 by 2, you get 24, so we multiply 103 by 2. And we get 206. So now we can subtract 311 minus 206. 24 is going to be your denominator. 311 minus 206 is 105. And we can simplify that, or at least make it a mixed number. 24 goes into 105. I want to say 4 times. Let's see. Yes. 4 times. And that gives you 96, so that's a remainder of 9. 4 and 9 24ths. But of course we're not done, because 9 over 24 can be simplified. They made you do a lot of work with this one. Let me just erase this over here. Okay, so 9 24ths can be simplified. Let's divide by 3. And you get 9 divided by 3 is 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So your final answer is 4 3/8. That's the length of this missing side, 4 3/8 inches. Okay, it was a long problem, but every step that we did, you've already learned. It's just a matter of taking your time, working your steps through, being patient. Okay, and you're done.